Alright there, mate. Jules here from FGS, also known as the Future Game Show, and recently I've been playing a tiny little title with huge potential, and that is Capcom's up-and-coming project, Exoprimal. Now, I know what you're probably thinking to yourself, what in the Jurassic heck is Exoprimal? Well, shut up, and I'll explain. Sorry, I'll be nice, I promise. For you see, my friend, this is a game featuring dinosaurs made by Capcom, but that couldn't have any less to do with Dino Crisis, despite how much we want it. Come on, Capcom. Here in Exoprimal, you and a team of other players attempt to survive against endless waves of prehistoric terrors, all while trying to complete different mini-objectives before then engaging in a rather surprising fight to the death that, honestly, I didn't see coming on my first playthrough. However, before you begin writing this game off as a potentially generic hero shooter, let me unpack the absolute setting of this game. For you see, there are rogue AIs, there is timey-wimey shenanigans, time travel and teleportation, and of course, the question of why the hell there are so many dinosaurs in Exoprimal. Kicking things off is the fact that thanks to some unknown event, a time-displacing barrier has opened up over a remote island, causing all those nearby to crash and take refuge. Shortly after arriving, a malevolent AI called Leviathan appears and instructs the survivors that they will now take part in gladiatorial combat, whether they want to or not.
Greetings. I am Leviathan, your AI guide.
Kind of think like GLaDOS, but with a dinosaur fetish. That is a Venn diagram that does not need to be crossed. Why does Leviathan want us to fight? We're not entirely sure, and neither is it immediately clear why Leviathan transports all the players back in time 3 years from the present 2043 setting. But what is apparent is that you're going to be killing a lot of dinosaurs if you want to get off this island and back to whatever reality exists beyond Leviathan's reach. Seriously, before we even begin talking about how the game plays and whether or not you should even bother trying Exoprimal, we have to address the fact that this is utterly bonkers, right? And while it's clear the game never for 1 second takes itself seriously, hitting that sweet spot of corporate madness that Vanquish slid so well into, it does seem to have intrigue in spades, and it needs to, seeing as Exoprimal also contains a single-player mode which is sure to explore all of these oddities. Yet here's the real question, Columbo style right there. Do you care at all about the narrative in a game like this? Well, I've asked my colleagues Tom and James in order to weigh in their opinions, and this is what they had to say.
Not in the slightest.
I'm here for Exoprimal, Jules, not exposition.
Exactly right, so maybe Capcom advertising this game as PvE, and trust me, we'll talk about how that's changed in a moment, wasn't such a smart idea. But what is a good idea is that you watch this video to understand what the hell Exoprimal is and why you should play it, which just happens to be the title of this video. And I'm not going to do this alone because Tom and James are going to support me with their thoughts after we played this game's beta.
So Jules has given you a good idea of just how bonkers the story is, and initially, the gameplay feels just as bonkers. You've got swarms of dinosaurs falling out of the sky like it's got the trots, and Ellie Sattler isn't around to help. You're in a mech suit with enough stuff that goes boom that even Demo Man would stop drinking and take notice. The best way I can explain, it's a mix of Titanfall, Overwatch 2, MechWarrior, Warframe, Team Fortress 2, and some MOBAs. Each armour or exosuit falls into the standard category of tank, support, assault, and then the 10 that you have on offer have a nice varied amount of skills and playstyles. You can also equip different gear to further enhance existing abilities or give you new ones. Finally, there are a few items you can craft in the game. So while all the exosuits really are fun to play with in their own way, none of this is new or revolutionary stuff. Now what is new and fun is that you can change your exosuit at any time. So if all of a sudden one big T-Rex has appeared that you need to pump damage into, you can jump out of your support class, grab Vigilant with the OP sniper rifle, pop the big dino's head off, and then jump back into support play. Initially your exosuit has so many attack options, it's actually rather overwhelming, and if you press 2 buttons at once, your screen explodes with effects. Thankfully, all of your abilities are listed on the screen, and some of them carry over to other exosuits, so it becomes quickly quite intuitive and relatively easy. For a mech game, the movement actually feels very good, which is why I likened it to Warframe. Obviously, the tank characters move a bit slower, but Murasame has a grapple to ping around the world, and Skywave can fly above the battlefield. I didn't notice too much lag, but my 3080 did turn my room into a sauna and some where there was a jet plane hiding. So most of the mission types are your standard assassinate big X dino, defense against certain amount of waves, escort this to that place, and tower attack or defense. Now there are some nice twists in with all of these. For instance, one of them has you bonking stuff with a big hammer, but you get the idea. There is one big twist that changes all of these and introduces a hell of a lot of fun and chaos, which I will let James tell you about.
If the premise of squadding up with your mates to mow down wave after wave of scaly baddies wasn't already enough to satisfy you, Exoprimal throws a cheeky cherry on top of the reptilian cake by adding in PvP. The dinosaur survival game mode has you compete against another human crew as you attempt to complete your objectives first. While it begins with you and your buddies battling big lizards, eventually you'll have to turn your weapons on the other team of people. The result is effectively a horde mode warm-up with an Overwatch-esque MOBA chaser, and it's a thrilling cocktail that you'll want to drink in over and over again until you're hallucinating that you're chatting to a dinosaur on a plane like Alan Grant in Jurassic Park 3. And if that reference feels too clunky for you, I'm sorry, but it had to be done. In short, the PvP part of Exoprimal means you can't lower your concentration levels. While most PvE titles tend to allow for a chill experience, Capcom's new dino hunting game isn't so forgiving, making for an overall more rewarding multiplayer romp.
So let's talk about the fun value of Exoprimal, and honestly, it is hard to not have fun playing this game. It is an utter blast. I mean, at the end of the day, you're shooting giant dinosaurs that are appearing out of time portals with a group of friends in mech suits that can basically switch on the fly. There's not a boring moment here. When playing alongside friends, we had an absolute blast, as the constant swapping of suits, varying objectives, and the aforementioned PvP twist means that the game never settles in one area for too long. There's an unadulterated joy in seeing your suit weave through the air and then slam into the ground whilst your friends draw fire with explosions and traps. Plus, and this is a big one for all of the support mains out there for hero shooters, healers are so vital in this game that everyone will be adding you to their friends list. This is a game for the healers. Plus the Witch Doctor is just so weird. I absolutely love him. He kisses you with a little extendo mouth. Brilliant! Now, were the game any one singular loop of either hero shooter, horde survival title, or PvP battler, I would actually say that Exoprimal maybe wouldn't raise as much of an eyebrow in the gaming medium, simply because it does all of these things competently, but none uniquely. However, when combined with the fact that, as I've mentioned before, these are goopy loopy dinos that you're shooting, means that it becomes distilled insanity. However, and I have to stress this, Exoprimal, when played solo on the mode that we were given access to on the beta, absolutely sucked in my opinion. There was no teamwork, there was zero communication, and the emotes wheel is just slow enough to become the bane of my existence as I was getting chomped down just as I was trying to be like, hey, to somebody else. Fantastic. That does need a little bit of tweaking right there, as does the community aspect, because if you don't work together as a team in this game, you will lose, and you will die, and then you will die and lose. In that order. What breathed life into this game as a multiplayer joy, that being the evolving match types and situations, may be a comet of mass destruction for the single-player install base, as without support, your team might as well be dead on arrival.
So while this is out on Xbox Games Pass, anybody else that wants to play it is going to have to punt up 50 smackaroos. Now, considering all the free fun-to-play multiplayer games that are out there, this is a tough ask. Now, obviously, playing with friends is going to be more fun, but in Exoprimal, it's essential and makes the long-term future problematic. See, the mix of PvP and objective-based gameplay means you really can't be Leroying off on your own, and it's no fun if all your teammates are doing it. You can easily get overwhelmed by the dino swarm if all your teammates leave you at the same time, and it's terrifying. Once you do come across the other team, your success is based on good communication, the right exosuit team composition, and understanding the current objective. When playing on your own with a random team, none of this seems to happen, and it's a very different experience. It's going to be nice, however, to not have a main, but 3 or 4 mains, depending on what you need in the mission. The characters and their abilities really are different and fun to play around with. The rigs and crafting also change up the playstyle notably, enough that I foresee playing around with customization and team setups being fun for quite a long time. The ability to change your whole team within a few seconds really does bode well for the future of this game. However, PvP doesn't seem to be balanced that well, at least not yet. Certain characters are way more powerful in PvP, and maps have choke points that directly benefit one side over the other. As we consistently see with PvP games, getting the balance right can take years if your game survives that long. Now, there is no doubt that Exoprimal looks amazing. But as I mentioned before, my GeForce 3080 at medium graphics setting got super warm and loud while playing. So some people might not even be able to play this at anything close to a respectable frame rate with all the artifacts on screen. And there is a lot going on in this game. But being honest, we all know that the future of this game is going to be based on cosmetics. If you can purchase a skin that turns Barrage into Ghost Rider or gives Nimbus a short skirt, Capcom will make millions.
As you can tell by our collective experiences with Exoprimal's beta, this is a game that was just so surprising and so joyous that it's really refreshing actually. What appeared to be generic on the surface actually has a ton of depth that is just waiting to be explored. It's a competent shooter with a lavish coating of nonsensical dinosaurs, and it's revealed itself to be a heady cocktail of insanity that just had us reeling at the over-the-top gameplay, setting, and PvP twist. This was an experience made exhilarating with friends and pretty terrifying without them, and I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing how the full game takes shape. With added modes, new exosuits, and of course that baffling single-player mode, there is a ton of content still left to explore, but you can be sure that FGS will bring you all of the dino-shaped madness as it unfolds. And there we go, my friends. Those were our thoughts on whether you should play Exoprimal. Let us know what you thought about it down in the comments section below, whether you played this game already through the beta and what you thought of it. I love reading all your comments and having a little discussion with you. But if you want to have a chat with me in between videos, then you can go over to my social media pages where I'm at RetroJ on both Twitter and Instagram, and I'm Egg Daddy Jules, I think I am, on TikTok. I've been asked to get that, so go follow me over there. There's probably going to be at least one video a year that I can promise, and I probably won't even commit to that, but I'll try. I will try. And you can follow my colleagues over here on their Instagrams, Twitters, and other social media handles. Big love to the boys, and thank you very much for helping me make this video. But before I go, I just want to say one thing. There is one part of your life that should never become extinct, and that is the positivity that you should treat yourself with every single day. Because, my friend, you deserve love, happiness, and success. We all do as human beings out here, and you are a massive ledge, all right? Do not let anything or anyone else tell you otherwise. I want you to go out there and smash your life goals like you are a giant T-Rex that's been summoned through a very goopy portal. Weird metaphor, but you know it makes sense. As always, I've been Jules, you have been awesome, never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.